Hello, hello. What's going on, guys? SasDood here with another YouTube live stream. So let me make sure everything. I mostly have everything set up, but let me make sure. This on live chat. Let me double check the stream. All right. Let me been a while since I've drawn this week. Hopefully everything looks good. Set up everything properly, I think. But let's do a little bit. Let's do some circles and some scribbling to warm up. Hope everyone's week has been good. Hope everyone is well. Maybe you got some drawing in, maybe you didn't. I got some good drawing sessions in this week. Hopefully we can have a good or a decent drawing session today. Warm up the hands. We're just gonna be drawing random stuff. I actually came prepared this stream instead of last stream. My very first stream that I did last Saturday, I kind of just winged it. But this stream, I have prepared some random household objects and things to draw. Because I didn't really get through too many drawings last stream. So hopefully we can do a little bit more drawing. New video is out today. It's not really a commentary video or an art talk. It's just a stippling self-portrait of myself. So that's what a self-portrait is. Of myself. So I did that self-portrait because I turned 25 on Monday. Is the 15th. And I just wanted to do a little something to you know, celebrate. Got some scribbles here. I have my pen with me today. Ballpoint pen, so we can experiment with using the pen more. I've been wanting to use the pen more and more. Kind of shy away from drawing with pencil. Let me grab my scrap piece of paper. Always need that when you're drawing. Place this over here. Some circles. The shoulder. I don't know. There's like a bump at my desk. I don't know. But yeah, you know, sit back and relax. If you want to draw with me, you can. You just want to sit and talk, we can do that as well. I'm a big talker. Get me started on something, and you know, I'll talk your ear off. Maybe. Not too sure. But yeah, come hang out, come chill. We got some jazz in the background. Okay, see? So this is from last drawing session. Just me scribbling on that piece of paper. But usually I warm up by just doing this every single time. Drawing circles and circles. Drawing ovals and circles. Scribbling. Ghosting. A lot of ghosting. When you get past being like a beginner at art and you kind of translate yourself into being like more of an intermediate style, you tend not to do these types of like basic beginner exercise. Instead, your exercises will be more intellectually stimulating, or rather on more of the artistic side, like drawing blocks in different perspectives, or a lot of art, like full-time professional artists and maybe artists on YouTube here, they do like a lot of gesture drawing. Still haven't practiced any gesture drawings either. I've been playing my guitar a little bit more. I've been practicing my guitar. Not very good at it, but slowly but surely I'm getting better at playing my guitar. I haven't really been playing it for a while here, but recently got back into it. I think that's enough for now. What we do with this is we just crumple it up and we can throw it on the floor. I'll just place it over here on the side of my desk. Have this piece of paper here. Flip it over. And we're just gonna, like I said, that's the stream. We're just gonna be looking at stuff that I find on Pinterest, or rather that I found in my collection here, and we're just gonna draw, right? So let me quick boot it up and we can scroll through. Okay, as you can see here on my tablet here, I have a bunch of like random household objects and everyday objects. I have not drawn from this selection yet because I wanted to save it for the stream. You have some interesting things right here. You got like a takeout box, got Nintendo Game Boy, milk cartons, candle. I don't know what. Let's start off with the simple but humble traffic cone. This is what they tell you to focus on when you're first learning how to draw is squares, cones, circles, etc. So if we take a look at this here, and what I like to do is measure with my mechanical here. And a neat feature, I don't know if it's for Samsungs, only if it's for Android, but if you go into your settings and you go to accessibility and you go to like lock touches or touch lock or something like that, and you press the power and up at the same time, volume up, you can actually lock your screen from touches. So you can block out what portion of the screen you want to not be responding to touches. Or you can just click block whole screen, which I have here. Click done. And now the screen will not respond to your touch until you, excuse me, power off the device, I think, or you have to press power up in volume again. So very nice feature for me. I'm trying not to use my printer too much. So what I do for drawings is I just turn off the lights and overlay my paper over the tablet. And that's kind of tricky because the tablet slips and slides around and the paper does as well. So I can't really get a super duper accurate drawing. Maybe I'll get like a clamp and clamp it to like the bottom of my desk. But that doesn't really help with the paper sliding around. So what I do is, I think for the self-portrait, I put my phone on top so it doesn't slide around too much. But yeah. 2 great tips for you guys if you have like a large tablet. If you have like an iPad, then that's not like a really big deal, but since mine isn't too large here, it's more of a hassle for me. 2 great tips for you guys. Let me take a drink and some drawing done. So I said 2 great tips, but I think the second tip I forgot to mention was measuring with your pencil here. Right, we have this mechanical right here, and we can see that from the tip of my mechanical to the base, like right around here or something, is the cone itself, right? So that's why you have like a extra pen or pencil or something like that. So just something around here, right? And you can also measure how wide it was too. So if we take this, we can see that. If we take the end here, it's about here, how wide it is. Like something like this, maybe. Oh, and my pen has seemingly gone dry. Oh, there's ink in it. Oh, it's coming back. It's about the size of that. Up here somewhere, right? I never really draw household objects and things like that. I've done it a little bit. But not too much. This one's like a... kind of just wraps around here. That's a pretty promising start already, and we can see that little ways down here. Doesn't need to be perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. I could have probably made it a bit wider, I think. All right. So if the end cap here can end it like right there, and a little further down. If we have it up here, if we measure it right here, I'd say it's like maybe around here somewhere. The drawing's not supposed to be super accurate anyways. Actually, I think it'd be like I guess we should do the little base around the cone first. Got like a little indent there. I guess it would be like diagonal. Something like this, right? It would make the structure at the bottom here. Something like that, right? I mean, that's always a tricky part with these types of things, is it's kind of hard. It's like the cone in the picture looks like it's tilted forward a little. Kind of hard to convey this with just pure lines. But I don't know. There you go. There's a traffic cone, I guess. Let's fix it up a little. This should like recede into, it shouldn't be the same height. And this should be like, I don't know, a lot further out, I believe. That's okay. Kind of like about the idea, not the actual drawing. So we got a traffic cone, I guess. It's looking all right, I guess. Disable that. I guess we can go over it with pen. Let me get my kneaded eraser, actually. I had an actual eraser sitting around, but I don't know where I put it, so I get this airy little kneaded eraser, I guess. Adjusted the lights a little. Of hair on it. I'm being dropped on the floor. Just erase it like that. I don't know where, I have to go find where I put my other eraser at. Just soft erase it. Oops. Better to hold the paper down completely while you do that. Have something if make it a little bit wider in the pen drawing here. I guess actually it wraps around like this, and then it goes like this. Something like this, right? At the top here. Kind kind of want it angular, have it go a little bit this way. Oh. Pencil definitely looks better for, definitely more my style, but that's all right. We can do like a little bit of shading on the side here. Drawing with pen always requires a level of precision and confidence I never really have. Well, I guess I should do like wrapping lines, right? Instead of just straight diagonal lines to convey the form a little bit more. There's not really any shadows, but I guess if we wanted to convey the form, like something like this. Sometimes you can just ignore what you see on the picture, and if you want to convey your form, right? Do stuff like this. And if you want to convey that this is a round object. Right. You wanna do some directional shading up here, right? And you know, shading will always help hide your wiggly lines and things like that, right? So with just a little bit of shading, you can have the, you know, cone pop out. If you want like maybe a more, or to pop out a little bit more, you can just do a little bit of a background here. Right. Have it stand out. Have like the cone stand out against the background. You like make the background a little darker. Two-tone cross-hatching. Right, so the cone will stand out a little bit more. And if you wanted to have some sort of like grounded presence, you could do a little bit of a, what do they call it? Ambient occlusion. The shadow where it's standing, or like where it meets the ground, is always gonna be even darker than the darkest of shade, right? So we can do like a little bit of the reflection that we see here. Right. That's like its own shadow. Put some like some highlights there. Put some highlights right here. Right, if you want it to like stand out even more against the background, you can do some darker line work on the outside. That's kind of what I like about pen and ink, is there are many ways to achieve what you want that will pop out better than pencil. It's just it has a higher skill ceiling and got more work and less of a mistake, right? So with just like a little bit of work, we made it, the art piece, make a regular cone a little bit more interesting in terms of, at least to me, maybe it's not very interesting to you. And maybe like sometimes this camera doesn't really pick up everything. But yeah, there's like a regular traffic cone. Right? Not everything is like super accurate to the original image, but sometimes you don't need to stick to the reference image, right? Like we can do like this broom. Do this broom here. So I can let's lock this. So the broom from the tip of my pencil, mechanical to the bottom, it's about halfway to like that little barrel here. So put that down there. Guess I'm gonna guess right here I should have turned the pencil upside down. Something around there. And we'll just guesstimate right here. I'll just assume it's equal widths, right? And we can see from the measurement here that like okay, say it's about like right here, maybe this overhang, right? It seems a lot of measuring, but as an artist you're gonna need to measure, whether with your eyes or whether with your pencil or your thumb or whatever. So let's say from a little bit above here, maybe, perhaps. We'll get like that. That's a little bit too long, I think. Shorten it up a little. Okay. I need to change my mic position, to be honest, because I'm drawing things from like a weird angle. So the wood isn't gonna be. We want to like have the wood bend, but not too much. We want it to remain realistic. We'll have the right handle follow. We can even like we can mark out where we want the shading on the left hand side of the broom handle. And we can do a little bit of squiggly lines up here. Indicate the, let me take a closer look at that. Like a hexagonal pattern. It's like the weaving of the wood. We can kind of just scribble that in there, to be honest. Like, doesn't really matter. Such a small detail. And what I should have done here at the bottom is when I'll actually extend this out a little bit. So that looks a little bit better on this right hand side here. So all we need to do, yeah, but then okay. Actually, we'll go back. We'll meet in the middle here, cause we'll meet in the middle here. Cause it just goes here, and then it just goes straight diagonally. Focus on the banding here. A proper curve on the banding there. And then what can we do for the straw here? We can just bundle it up, I guess. I think the best way, it's kind of like hair, is you kind of bundle up the straw. For down here, we could probably like just do a whole bunch of shading right here. Shading down here. I guess it would pop up through here, right? Something like that, right? So let's do some soft erasing here. Your hand shaking can actually help you in this part. Makes it look more like a wood, right? Let's do a bunch of squiggles right here. I guess I could have made this more skinnier. I made this more diagonal, but let's do a little bit of like some squiggles here. I'm trying to go for like a more triangular shape following because we can't really see the pattern in the image. That's okay. Doesn't really matter. As long as like the concept is there. I also see we have like some like string or whatever. It's hard to see. Sort of. Sort of looped string there. I would just do it like that. Do the banding here. Like I said, this. I guess we could do some shading on the left side here. Want to shade them close together. Just one tone shading. shade a little bit, right, to show off the straw. Like maybe near the ends and some in the middle. For this middle here, we can probably just shade. The bottom portion here. Maybe a little near the top. Our last bundle of straw here. Sort of like highlight right there. Shading up here. Yeah, mostly the shading is gonna be down here for the most part. Off a little bit of like, I don't know. Something like that, right? Go over this a little bit. So, you have shading on the left side of this wooden broom handle here. Do some diagonal hatching. Only on the left side. Keep them relatively close together since it's relatively dark. About the same shade as the draw on the bottom there. That would be a great like stippling and things like that. Some like wood, I don't know. I don't really know how to convey wood. I guess. Oh, that's a broom. Not a very good looking broom, but you know, it's a broom nonetheless. Maybe I could have gone a little easier on the shading at the bottom there. And I probably should have left the shading alone at the top a little bit, but give it like a could do like a sort of horizontal here. Sort of background. Right, that looks a little better, I guess. I'm not too sure. We're just drawing, we're just exploring different types of things, right? So it doesn't matter what the end result is for the drawings, as long as, you know, you're experimenting and you're learning new things and you're you're seeing where things can be improved upon and things like that, I think it's okay. I think it's fantastic even. Take a look at what other things we can draw here. I like this candle. That bowl looks hard to draw. This can looks interesting. You do some stippling on this can here. The ball, this, you know, it seems like a simple thing to draw, but in reality, probably not. If I were to draw this, I'd probably do stippling. Full battery. Maybe we should do the candle. The telephone. It's a hammer, key, fire hydrant, pliers. I think I tried drawing this cart once. I like this mushroom though. Hey, how's it going? How are you doing, Chloe? Thanks for joining me. And we just got done with 2 random still life drawings, I guess. We got a cone here and we got a what's supposed to be a broom. I don't know if that comes across as a broom, but I'm thinking we should do this, whatever this is, this mushroom here. So I should probably get another sheet since I've already stained this sheet from a different day of drawing. How are you doing, Chloe? Doing good, doing good. It's good to hear. Yeah. So that's awesome. Hopefully you keep doing amazing, right? It's one thing to have an amazing day. You gotta keep that day be amazing. Hello, AFI. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so let's take a look at this mushroom here. Okay. So let's measure it. He's in the good old mechanical. When did I start drawing? 3.5 years ago. In 2022. I think it was February 2022. I started drawing, and I started this YouTube channel in March, I believe, of 2024. When have you been drawing? Wait, could you that's awesome. Oh, like the date? Yeah. So like 2022, like in February or something like that, I quit my job and I started digitally drawing on a digital tablet, but I didn't really get anywhere with it until February the next year. My tax return hit, and I used that tax return money to buy a Gaomon GD, a PD 156 Pro, something like that. And from there on, yeah, I've been drawing for 3.5 years now. And then this YouTube channel was in 2024 of last year. We just got done doing these 2 things. It's a cone and a broom. So hopefully we can start on this drawing. How long have you guys been drawing for? It's kind of hard for me to talk and draw at the same time. Sorry. I don't really... When I'm drawing, I'm just like focused. And when I'm talking, I like to try to convey like to be more thoughtful, right? Or to I can't even talk. I'm out of words. I'm out of talking for the day, I guess. Wow. Not off to a good start. You've been drawing for 3 days? Hey, 3 days is better than no days. Just keep it up, man. Have I ever done anime drawings? I do have a drawing pile. I can show you. Hold on. I do have some projects here next to me that I can show off. I have a Newgrounds that I post my art on, and I post my art on my community pages, community posts or whatever. But let me filter through them and see. I'm not really a like anime person, you know. I like manga. All right. So this is my most recent drawing right here. It's a self-portrait. So I just uploaded a video of me drawing this today. But yeah, this is stippling. I stippled this entire artwork here. Took me 3.5 hours to stipple this entire thing. Thank you for the compliment, Chloe. I have this Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger stippling drawing. What's the best tip I can give you? Just have fun with it. Don't do what I did, and I treated drawing like a 9-to-5, and I burnt myself out really badly. Just have fun with it. Focus on your shapes, focus on your fundamentals, and don't be like all study and no play, right? All work and no play. Do some personal projects in the meantime. So, Crash Bandicoot here. I'm not a big advertising person, to be honest. That's the thing about me is. I just want to circle back, Chloe. That's pretty cool. You've been drawn for 6 years. I just read that comment. Why don't you advertise your streams? I'm not a big advertising person. Not a big colorer. Not a big colorer either. I like pen and ink drawing and pencil drawing. So yeah, I don't know anything about color or color theory. Got this one. Right, we're diving into a territory we can't show on YouTube. So I got some more. Hold on. Okay. Seen this one. So I'm going from like new to old, which is how I categorized my drawings. We got Coco from Crash Bandicoot here. No, from Crash Bandicoot. So for most of these drawings, I have a like a video associated with. Is the last drawing the reason you started? No. No. Maybe. A little bit. No. No, honestly, no. 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 I just, you know, I am not a furry. No disrespect to them. I really like this drawing, but I never really did much with it. I should have shaded it better. So if you're looking for anime, here you go. No, I am not I am the most least mainstream person you will ever like meet. If I was a trendy YouTube artist, I'd probably have thousands of subscribers by now, but I focus more on niche. I'm more of a teaching channel, right? I don't clickbait, I don't do sponsorships, I don't do advertisements and things like that. I kind of just post my videos once a week. I draw a couple times a week, and that's mainly it. Maya from Borderlands here. So we're delving back into like a couple, like 3 or 4 months ago drawings where I was just learning how to draw traditional. You can tell. Thank you. Thank you. Got Shisui here. My friend, he loves Shisui. He's got Itachi here. Got Obito here. And then we have Jade from Dragon Quest. And that's, I think, that's my second to last traditional drawing here. This is like when I was first starting out traditional. And here's Lily from Street Fighter 6. So I do have a little interest in drawing anime, but not too much. Yeah, thanks for the compliments, guys. I mainly draw from reference. I don't draw from imagination. Yeah, Yusuke Murata, he's really skilled. He is insanely skilled. In terms of art, well, I mean, it's in terms of his understanding, yes, but like every artist and art style, it's very subjective. I personally am not a big fan of overly detailed art. I've read One Punch Man. I've read Yusuke Murata's One Punch Man. I've read what do you call it? One's webcomic about One Punch Man. I've read Berserk. I got to like 100 chapters in Berserk. I didn't really like Berserk. I do like One Punch Man, but I kind of fell off it. What pencil do I use? It's a Bic Extra Sharp Extra Precision 0.5. And then for pen, I just use a Pen Plus Gear 1mm pen. It doesn't matter what pencil I use, to be honest. I use Dollar Tree pencils, basically. These are like $1 pen and pencils I use to draw. I'm not a big guy on materials and stuff like that. These are like my main tools right here. We don't need the 0.7 here, but these three are what I use. 0.5 mechanical. It uses HB, not like, it uses like the number 2 pencil lead. I forgot what it's called. It's like HB. I have a 0.9, and then I have a 1mm ink, like just ballpoint pen. This isn't a gel pen. This isn't a roller ball pen. It's just a ballpoint. It's not a technical. It's not a fine liner. I do have a fine liner, but yeah, I just use whatever's convenient. 0.5 is for details. The lead is really, it's easy to break, but it's easier to get a lot of details. 0.5 I use for shading. So what I use for shading for pencil is a mechanical necessary? No, I just use mechanical because I find it more interesting to draw with it, and it's easier. I don't have to sharpen it all the time. With a 0. No, you're absolutely right. You know, I don't mean to discredit you there. You're absolutely right. Better perspective knowledge than Miura and Inoue. Yeah. I like all the underrated mangas and all the mangas no one would ever hear about, so that's kind of a damning on my part than it is on anyone else. Yeah. For shading with a 0.9, you don't really want to use this for details since it's a fatter lead. What I like to do is, I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, I blunt the edge. I made a video about this quite recently. I blunt the edge by just drawing over and over and over and over and over again. And then once you get to like a blunted edge, you can use that blunted edge to very lightly shade. It's like shading with a graphite, like a regular number 2 pencil. It just glides across the paper. My favorite manga, I gotta give it up to Sing Yesterday for me. Sing Yesterday for me. Yesterday wo utate. Fantastic romantic manga. It's probably a deep cut. No one knows about it. No one knows about it. If you know what that is, shout out to you. Because I love Yesterday wo utate. Let's put these away. I don't want to draw with these. I finished Demon Slayer. Did not like it. I don't like shonen. I do like Full Metal Alchemist. I've read like 50 chapters of One Piece like 5 years ago. Not a big fan of shonen, not a big fan of One Piece, not a big fan of Bleach. I started with Dragon Ball, but I don't really like Dragon Ball anymore. So no, you're good, you're good. It's my fault. I'm really bad at talking while drawing. Okay, that looks good. Let's measure the width. No, just keep talking. I would rather talk than draw, to be honest. I'm a big talker. You get me started on drawing, I'm going to... I like talking. I like drawing too, but I like to spread my knowledge. Let's see here. This is what I don't like about measuring. How would I... Let me get out the ruler. Let me get out the ruler. Alcohol markers? No. I've only ever used a mechanical and a pen. I've never used markers, I've never used crayons, I've never used color pencils. If we're talking about like drawing when I like as a career, no, I have not, but like, you know, when I was a kid and stuff like that, yes. 0, 3.5. Let's just do it like this. Let's just assume it's like over here somewhere. We'll see. I might have to redo this drawing. No, I'm a pretty boring guy. I don't try out. I don't color. I do a lot of pen and ink and let's get the lay-in. Get the lay-in here. I chose a difficult image to draw, to be honest. I have been thinking of doing some colored pencils. I definitely want to mess with some colored pencils here and there. So in the future, I think, yes, I will do some colored pencils. But I've been kind of busy lately. So I don't know. I have to... If I do go to Walmart today, I might grab like a pack of cheap Crayola pencils or like colored pencils. I think I messed up on the measuring here. Perhaps. I think I did. I think I need to... Since I messed up, I need to extend the top dot a little bit more. I have no issue measuring vertically, but when it comes to horizontally, that's when it kind of falls apart for me with my method that I use. But we're just having fun, you know, not trying to be perfect here. I've been interested in trying the fine liners. I looked at Walmart when I was at Walmart a couple of weeks ago, and I just noticed this should be like leaning. Should start leaning. Like over here somewhere. I've never drawn a mushroom in my life. Oh my god. Be leaning like this. I don't know. Should be like that, I guess. Performance anxiety. Performance anxiety. As soon as I get on stream, I start messing up. I mean, that's not very complicated, I guess. Dude, like, I've been looking at what was I saying? What do you call them? What do you call them? What are those fancy fine liners that all the artists use that you see in like Alfonso draws? And it's not Prismacolor. It's thinking and drawing is too hard. They're like the really popular fine liners. They're pen and ink, and every artist uses them for like hatching and cross hatching and things like that. I forgot what they're called. Let's just speed this up. This mushroom is too hard for me to draw. Here, let's just Copic? No. Let me look at my phone. Let me look at my phone. I have a picture. Yes. You've read my mind. The Pigma microns. Yes. That is true. The microns, that's what they're called. Yes, you've read my mind. I definitely made this too big up here. Whatever, let's just soft erase and work on it with pen and ink. It's gonna look horrible. Whatever. We're here to learn. The one thing to learn about drawing is it doesn't matter if you suck. You'll learn. I typically don't draw these variety things. I only started drawing these variety things because I wanted to practice, so. Let's actually... Surgical, yeah, it goes like down to like 0.2. That's crazy. They have a pack of like 5 at Walmart for like $10. But I'm okay with this pen right here. Oops, sorry. I guess where would it be? Like we'd start right here. Let's do some shading up here. Since there's no edge, we gotta make the edge with pen and ink. Let's round it out here. Let's do a middle straight line up here, and then as we get to the rounder edge on the right side, do some curved hatching to the right here. Plus, I don't like, this is like my third time drawing with pen. That Arnold Schwarzenegger drawing from Conan the Barbarian that I showed you earlier on stream, that was my first time. Second time was my self-portrait stippling, and then this is my third time messing around with pen. What camera? So, it's an iPhone SE. It's the first one that they made, like, I think it's 2020, iPhone SE 2020. It's the one where they took an iPhone 11's guts and mechanical power, and they stuffed it in an iPhone SE. But that's just for recording. I recently started using a Samsung Galaxy A15 or A14 5G. Yeah, I'm an Android guy. Yeah, iPhone SE. I think it's the 2020 edition, I believe. And the software that I'm using is called VodNinja, VOD.NINJA. It allows you to set up a like camera / room, and you can take that ID that the camera uses when you set up that room and put it on OBS. So that's the only reason why I started live streaming, is I don't have like a good enough camera at a high quality to like record me streaming and things like that. I only have one for drawing and things like that. And then I found out with an iPhone, you can just use VOD.Ninja and cast your screen to OBS as a browser source. And that's how I'm coming to you right now. What favorite games? Do I have any favorite games? I like Mortal Kombat, Shenmue, Disgaea, Dragon Quest, No Man's Sky, yeah, when you ask me that, that's a daunting question. Abe's Odyssey, like the series, Oddworld. Conan Exiles. And I quite like the Conan game on the NES, the one that's like repurposed. It's really hard. I don't actually... Crash Bandicoot, that's a good one. Crash Bandicoot. Basically, anything made by Nippon Ichi Software, I really like. Mortal Kombat, NetherRealm Studios, I really like their games. No Man's Sky, I really like Hello Games' dedication to the game. Do I have a favorite idol? I like Takehito Harada, the author of Disgaea. But he doesn't really motivate me to draw. What keeps me drawing is basically I've kind of Stockholm syndromed myself into drawing. I did it so much over the course of 3 years that I force myself to draw. But I have fun doing it. I say that like it's a bad thing, but I have fun doing it. But I do like, I like reading a lot of manga. I like looking at and collecting art books. But there's not like really a singular person who motivates me to draw, if that makes any sense. I have a huge, well, not a huge, I have a pretty big art book collection. And I look and I show off my art books on my YouTube channel. And once I'm done with this drawing, like I did with the last stream, I can pull out Takehiro Harada's art books, and we can take a quick look at those once I'm done with this one. If you guys would be interested in that. That's awesome. Thank you for the compliment, AFI. But I feel, like I said, my #1 advice to you is like to just have fun drawing, because I never really had a lot of fun drawing when I first started, and until this year I've really felt it as like a 9 to 5 AFI. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. But up until this year, I never really really branched out with my drawing, and that was to my detriment. So this year was when I switched from digital to traditional drawing, I kind of made it a goal to just explore and experiment and see what sticks and see what doesn't. And in those early days, I was not doing myself any favors. A little fun fact, when I first started drawing from 2024, I'll get back to that comment, Chloe. I see that comment. Let me just finish my thought. From did I say 2024? From 2022 to about halfway through that year, I didn't take a break for drawing. I took like a week off to major burnout, and then I didn't take a break from 2022 until like 2023. Was it 2024? I caught COVID, and I was out of the game for about 5 days. And then after that, I didn't take another break until 2024, the start of that year. I took a weekend break at the end of January, and then I took another month-long break at the end of April. So, like, on one hand, in my 3.5 years of drawing, I've only taken like 3 or 4 breaks. One break of which I forced myself to take a break because I was gonna die if I didn't rest up due to COVID. But don't do what I did. Have fun. Take it easy. It's not a competition. I had to find that out the hard way. I mean, I just hold the pen and I hold the pencil how they taught me in elementary. Your favorite? Let me get back to that. Yeah, I caught COVID. I was helping someone move, and I guess I caught it from someone at Walmart with my father, and the whole family caught it, basically. And that's after I got my vaccine shots. I got 2 vaccine shots, and I still caught it. So Takeshi Obata, let me look him up. I feel like I recognize him. Let me look him up real quick. I'm not a big guy for names. Oh, Death Note. Death Note. I love me some Death Note. Death Note is the GOAT. I love Death Note. My brother really loves Death Note. I mess with Death Note heavily. Funny thing you say that about Takeshi Obata. My friend, I put my friend on Death Note recently, and he came back to me and he told me Death Note was amazing. So I have converted, you know, I've converted someone to the Church of Death Note through my own actions. Hopefully that pleases you, Chloe. I told him to watch it, and he watched it. Do I have any hobbies? I draw. I play a lot of video games. Well, no, I don't play a lot. I play video games. I recently started biking. I have a electric bike given to me by my brother, and I go out on the bike trail and I ride about 5 to 10 miles every couple days. I haven't done it last week or this week because I've been busy from Labor Day on, but biking. I like collecting art books. I like collecting figures of like Funko Pops and things like that for like characters I'm interested in. Not just Funko Pops, but figures in general. I'm recently started reading some Robert E. Howard, Conan the Barbarian, Solomon Kane. Mainly Robert E. Howard. Watching lots of YouTube. Reading lots and lots of manga. I need to look up some if he has like some live action drawings, Takeshi Obata, I'll have to look it up. I like looking at those old Akira Toriyama drawing videos. I started drawing when I was young too, but I never really got anywhere. I took a high school art class, Art 1, and that's why I kind of went into art. After I quit my job, I needed something to do, and I wanted something to do, so I just started drawing. Yes, Akira Toriyama. I don't really like Dragon Ball anymore. I'm more of a Dragon Quest fan of his artwork. But yes, I don't like shonen. I don't really like battle manga a lot because it's hard to follow. But Akira Toriyama, he knows how to convey the art of movement using his panels. I don't know, this mushroom's actually looking pretty good. I surprised myself. A little bit of ghosting of the line here. I feel like I'm old. I'm 25. I turned 25 on Monday. I'm actually impressed by how I did this mushroom drawing. I can't lie. Do a little bit of stippling here. I wanted to do shapes for the spots. How does it feel being an adult? I've been an adult. I graduated in 2019. What are you talking about? I graduated in 2019 right before COVID. I graduated and immediately the world became COVID. I was an adult. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. It sucks. No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm not in a doomer mindset, you know. It's been good. Life has been kind to me. I can't really complain. I really like this technique that I'm doing here where I barely touch the page with the pencil and I'm conveying form. That's a really good technique to use. I might actually make a YouTube video about that. What I'm doing right here. Kind of been slacking on the YouTube lately. It's looking all right. Let's do a little bit of dirty work up here. Put some stippling. What's my favorite food? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are young. 15, I was 14, 15, 16. Could I draw a face for the mushroom? I kind of don't want to ruin it, but I would rather not. I'm kind of proud of this mushroom right here. I really thought this mushroom would turn out really bad, but I might have to deny that request. Like, I don't know. I don't really like eating. Is that a weird thing? I think of food as like just something like a chore. You know, I eat to survive. I don't really have a favorite food. Like Bosnian sausages, cevapi, those are really good. That might be my favorite. Cevapi on some pita bread, some pita. Put some Ivar in there. Yeah, I think that would be my favorite food. I find a lot of things a chore to do. What paper I use? I use printer paper. I can show you. This is what I use. Pen plus gear copy paper. 500 sheets, 20 pound, 92 bright. It's, I think I got this for like 15 or 20 bucks. It's got, how many pages does it have? I don't know how much. 500 sheets. I don't recommend using this to draw if you're making some like insane-o artwork. Like, it's thicker paper better than normal paper? That's a question for the art enthusiasts out there, not for me. But I do know enough about art paper to know that there are like different grades to paper, and there's different use cases for paper. So if you're doing watercolor paper, if you're doing watercolors, you want like water resistant paper. I forgot what it's called, so it can hold your drawings. Because if you do watercolor on like a printer paper or normal paper, it kind of like starts curling at the edges and things like that. If you're doing heavy pen and ink drawings, I would recommend getting a thicker paper, more pound, because if it's hard to see, but the ballpoint pen kind of just bleeds through it. What do they call it? Grit? I think they call it grit. Paper with more grit, or no, teeth, I think. If the paper has more teeth, that means it eats up the lead. Like the lead kind of sticks to it easier, and it can hold a lot more like abuse, right? So I have some, let me look for my sketchbooks, and let me grab my fine liner and show you. So when I first started drawing, I bought like a bunch of sketchbooks, but I never use them. But this one I got off Amazon for like $5. Acid-free perforated sheets, 9x6. It doesn't really say anything about the teeth or like the grit or whatever you call it. But this paper is a lot more high quality than printer paper. You can once you like know what paper you're looking for, it's hard to see on the camera here, but there's like a lot more grain. They call it teeth, I think. There's like a lot more tooth to the paper than there is on the printer paper. So right away, when I'm drawing on this paper, it's very nice. I can feel it gripping my lead a bit more, and I can feel it being a more high quality paper just off the bat by me drawing. And you can kind of tell. You would not want to use this paper for watercolor or painting. This is purely sketching. And if I do like some ink here, it's hard to see, but you're not going to see the ink through the page as easily as you would on the printer paper. So here I have a fine liner, Papermate fine liner, like a what's it say, flare medium. It's like a one point. This is just a fine liner, right? It's not going to show up as easily. The ink is darker. It doesn't show up at all on the other side, trust me. But if I put this away for now, and I instead did fine liner here, it bleeds through. Not as much, but it'll bleed through a little bit more than the ballpoint pen. It's hard to tell. So here's like the mushroom. You can kind of faintly see it, and here's like the fine liner. It's bleeding through a little bit more than the ballpoint pen there. I use copy paper because I simply don't care. And it's easier to smudge. If you can see here, I smudged my stuff here. So I should have waited for it to dry first. I smudged the pen and ink stuff, but that's mainly a pen issue and not a paper issue. But this type of paper, this copy paper, has no like teeth to it. It has no grip to it. Your pencil kind of just slides all over the place on it. And if you're like planning to like throw away your drawings, or you really don't care, just grab a sheet of copy paper for like 10, 15 bucks, 500 sheets. I bought these 500 sheets for like 15 bucks a while ago. Is it a problem for color pencils? I've never tested it. I do plan, like I said, I promise you I'll grab a pack of color pencils and I will test them out. But yeah, there's no grip here. There's no teeth. This is purely for printing and copying. And if you don't care about that, go ahead, buy a pack of 500. I bought this pack like a year ago and I'm still going through it, you know? So I recommend not spending big bucks on copy paper, or not copy paper. Don't spend a lot of big bucks on fancy sketchbooks and fancy paper. Just mess around with copy paper and printing paper until you know what you're doing and what you want to accomplish, and then start shelling out a little bit more, right? And I recommend the same thing for tools. Do what I do. You don't need the expensive Prismacolor and Copic stuff. Everybody can draw with just a pencil or mechanical, or, you know, a ballpoint pen or whatever, right? And once you start knowing what you want to do, and that might take a couple of years, you might know what you want to do immediately, then start shelling out a little bit more, right? For tools and such objects. I am a simple guy. I don't own any art tools that cost more than like $10, to be honest with you. I think the most expensive art tool I have at my disposal is my light pad. This cost me like $10. And it has 3 levels of brightness, so you know, you overlay 2 pieces of paper on top and it lights up and you can trace over it, right? That's about it. Get yourself a ruler. I don't like using rulers, but sometimes they help, right? There's no problem with rulers. Get yourself like some kneaded erasers, right? Get yourself some normal erasers. You don't really need to spend more. That is if you're a simple guy like me. But if you're just starting out, yeah, you can draw with anything. You can draw with your finger, you know, you can draw with charcoal, you can do finger painting, you can do charcoal. And what I want to say is the more simple your tools are and the more limited you are in your disposal when it comes to drawing, the more accurate, or not accurate, the more creative you'll be in finding workarounds. Like I said in my most recent video, I think a couple weeks ago, I really wanted to shade with pencil, but I have a mechanical, and outside of like hatching and cross hatching, scribbling, stippling, whatever, it's really hard to shade using graphite, right? But I found out if you blunt the edge, right? If you blunt the edge by using a piece of scrap paper, you can get a really nice gradient, like I showed off right here, and I showed off in my YouTube video about it. And you can basically shade that way. You can do it like this. Or if you're just, what I found out recently is if you're using just like a mechanical pencil like this, you don't even need to blunt the edge. All you need to do is just in a single direction, just very lightly, just do this. And you'll get the nice gradient without all the harsh lines for the most part. And I might try something like that in the future here, right? It's kind of like scribbling. You're just doing this over and over and over again to get like a nice gradient. But yes, don't spend too much on tools unless you know what you're doing. I mean, it's anybody's choice whether they want to, you know. It's only a net positive if you save money, you know, especially in this economy, for the most part. If you're going to draw with pen and ink, be careful. Like I showed right here, I smudged the lines. And on my Arnold the Barbarian, or Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger drawing, I smudged my signature, or like my thing here, so. And with pen and ink, you can just, what if it's going to smudge if I do this? Erase the pencil marks. You gotta let it dry first, and then you can erase the pencil marks. Get a little bit of a cleaner drawing. I mean, if I was gonna do that, normally I just have my light pad out. Why do people use ink? It's easier to define forms in ink, right? So if we have like a, so let's do a circle here. So we have like a circle here, right? With a pencil, you would probably, you could do cross-hatching, things like that. With a pencil, it's harder to convey forms, I think, using lines and things like that, because it's a thing you find with pencil especially, as you add more layers to your hatching and cross-hatching, your hatching gets messier and it gets like blurrier and things like that. So, and it smudges. It's hard to get like that darkness unless you're using higher, you know, 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, things like that. And you want like a more bolder piece of artwork, right? Pencil, whenever you look at a pencil drawing, it's graphite. It's very smooth, especially if you're with like a standard #2 pencil. It's like it has like a shiny look to it, and some people don't want that. So if you use a mechanical, you get rid of that shininess from the graphite, and you get more of a closer look to pen and ink. but it's still harder to define forms and things like that. And with mechanicals have their own disadvantage when it comes to wholesale shading across large areas and things like that, unless you're using like a 2mm stick, right? But like I showed right here, you can use your pen and ink to define bold lines to define your subject, right? So if we have like the circle and the sun is up here or something like that, right? We can do a variety of things to shade this, right? If I wanted to, I can follow the curve of this shadow, right? And it's gonna jump off the page a little bit more. I guess I should curve this a little bit more, right? And you can do this with pencil too. It's just a little harder. And then maybe we have like a little what do you call it? Gotta get a cast shadow here. People use pen and ink because it's bold. It gives you a little bit more expressiveness in your drawings that pencil and other forms of art media cannot give. So this is like dark, the shadow's the darkest, and then we'll do like a ambient occlusion right here, right? Something like that. Thank you, Chloe. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for talking with me. I wish you well on your own art journey. But going back to, I guess I could shade this a little bit more. We'll do like a two-tone shading here. Shadow will be 3, and then you have the ambient occlusion. Like that. We have like the bright spot right there. But if we were to do this in like a pencil, let me get out my 0.9 right here. Since we're using a pencil, it's going to be a little bit harder to convey the form using a pencil. So what I'm going to do is my broad side of my pencil here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of scribbling or circling here. You know, it's a preference like any other, right? Some people like drawing with pencil, some people like drawing with pen and ink. But I think mainly people like the boldness of black and white and how it jumps out on the page. That's a little bit of a shadow here. Let's give this a little bit darker here. We'll do a third tone here. Like this is not supposed to be an accurate representation of shading and things like that. It's supposed to just give you an idea, right? So we have like a 3-tone shade here, which is gonna go all out on. So we're starting off with a 3-tone shade immediately for the shadow, and then we'll push a little harder. See, as I'm like pushing harder and harder with my pencil, it's kind of hard to get the blackness that I would usually get with a pen. Do some ambient occlusion right there, right? Same thing. Something like that, right? And we have the right spot up here. Maybe we can. Something like that. And kind of just blend it. You can smudge it with your finger. Have it blend a little bit. Something like that, you know? Like I said, pen and ink, it's very bold up here. Here it's more smooth. It's like a smooth gradation. And it's a little bit less expressive. We had a 2-point perspective box here. Like the sun was pointing. So this top part is going to be entirely lighted, right? There's no shadow up here because the light is shining, right? We'll do a two-tone here. So we have the first tone, so kind of near the sunlight, there's only going to be one tone. But on the opposite side, or on the side next to it, is going to be a two-tone shading with hatching and cross-hatching. So this is just a lesson on shading, but I find it very... I find it very bold, right? The lines are more bold. Right, so if we were to do like... Here's a two-tone. There's a three-tone. Four-tone. There's a fifth tone. Right? So we have various tones, and it's just very vibrant. If for instance you had a cone, right? We've got a cone here. If we were like using pencil, we would just shade it, right? But we want to convey that this cone is a wrapping object, a round object, right? So what we could do is use wrapping lines to convey this form, right? And that's what pen and ink is really good at, is conveying form. We want to convey form. We want to convey that this 2D object is actually a three-dimensional object. A three-dimensional object on a 2D plane, which is this paper. And you can do that in a variety of ways. You don't have to wrap the object. If we look at this mushroom here, and we look at the image here, we can already see that the natural lines on this mushroom already convey a wrapping nature. If we look at the bottom here, we have curved hatching leading us down, and then as we get to the middle, it kind of just straightens out, and then it reverses. It goes right hatching. So you can see that right here. If we were to like look at this point up here, every single line on this mushroom, the texture goes from here to here, up here. And then as it gets towards the middle, it kind of straightens out, and then it goes to the right side, wrapping this object. Even down here, right? The wood grain, or the grain of this mushroom, the texture wraps like this. And that's how we conveyed it in my drawing here. It wraps. If you're a big fan of bold and distinct lines, you can use pen and ink to achieve that process. If you're more of a fan of more delicate shading and more of a smoother process, you can use pencil. I use both. It's good to experiment. You don't have to stick with one. You don't have to stick with other. You can just experiment. Which method? I use the box method. So get a box here. Divide it into 3 spaces. Right. This isn't, I kind of messed this up. The measurement isn't really that great, but this is your nose. Your eyes will be like somewhere down here. Your ears goes from the top of your eyebrows to your nose, your chin here, right? Something like that. That's what I use. That's like front facing. If you're like drawing from the side, you would make a square. You divide that square up. Then where would your ear be? I forgot. Actually, I guess your ear would be like back here. It's actually been a while since I tried this, to be honest. I don't actually think like this anymore, but like you got your indent here, you got your nose, you got your lips here, you got your chin here. Something like that. Something like that. I don't really... The Loomis method? Yeah, I know about it. I'm really bad at drawing from imagination, so... Just do a circle here. How do you do the Loomis method again? I actually forgot. You do a cross. You cut off the top. Cut off the bottom. This would be your... Oof. I don't actually remember. Oh yeah, you take this distance, and then you put it down here. You do something like this, right? Yeah, you cut off the side, yes. Yes, you cut off the side. And then you get like the ears right here. Yeah. Dude, I don't like the Loomis method. And then this is your hairline. This is like your eyebrows. And then your eyes would be a little under. This would like be your eyes a little bit further down. Like your nose or something like that. I don't remember how to do the look, to be honest. And then the middle part would be your mouth. Like that. I know how to use it, but at this point when I'm drawing, I don't look at faces using the box method or the Loomis method anymore because I'm so like past that, you know what I mean? I kind of just look at it and I know what to do. But for me, I don't draw from imagination. I don't draw from creativity or whatever. I use reference. And one things I use to create my drawings is I use a little bit of tracing. And by tracing, I mean I line up the features and then I draw the rest of the image. I only use the tracing part to line up the width of the nose and the size, right? And I'll show you. So if we want to show anything. Yeah, it's very for me, I didn't learn how to draw faces until 2.5 years in, even though I practiced every single day for those 2.5 years. Learning facial anatomy and body anatomy is an insane task to accomplish, even for an accomplished artist. So let me find a face. trying to find like an easy, I'm trying to find like an easy image to show it off. We do like a Naruto. The Naruto follows some pretty, maybe not. I just need a face. Facial expressions. Face angles. Okay. So we got this guy here, right? I don't look at this face and think of the Loomis method or the square method or the Bridgman method, right? I just look at the features that we have and how they line up. And you'll learn how to do this too once you become decent at drawing. And the main features you want to look for is your eyebrows and your ears would meet. I guess like this guy raised his eyebrows, but the top of the ears are top of the eyebrows, bottom of the ears are bottom of the nose. The line from your nostrils up to your eyes, that's how you get your eye distance, right? Your nostrils. Your mouth line goes up to the middle, if not a little bit less than the middle of your irises. You've got your cheekbones, right? This guy's got some cheekbones you can see, right? The distance, you have the glabella right here, so it's easier if I... So if we have like a nose, the distance from like the nostrils would be your like eyes. Right, and from the middle of your eyes down to like your mouth. Right, and you've got like this shape to the nose here. It's kind of like this, and then it branches down here, and you have what's like, it's like the middle is the space between your eyes. You have the glabella, and then you've got from your eyebrows, from the top of your eyebrows to the bottom of your nostrils, you would have your ears. It's a very weird drawing. Then even a little bit further down, you would have your chin, right? And then further up, you would have, I guess that'd be like up here or something like that. Got like your hairline. I think his forehead's a little too small there. Guess I should have made his like up here or something, but I mean, something like that. It's very basic, right? Obviously, this is just an off-the-cuff drawing. Everyone is different. Everybody has different types of facial features. Like if you were look at some edge cases, like people with Down syndrome, and some folks, they have their faces are kind of, I don't want to be mean. It's the truth. Their faces are kind of like shrunk in a little, so it requires you to have more of an option here. And then you take a look at like the space between eyes and the side of the face here. You've got like your cheekbones. And then you've got this whole mess right here with the nostril. You got the wings of the nostril on the planes. Or do like a side drawing here. I always mess up my boxes, man. Have your forehead, your indent there. You'd have your nose, your mouth. Here would be like somewhere around here. And then your cheekbone would be like right here. Or like it'd be down here somewhere. Eyebrows, blah, 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 blah. Your nostril here. Your mouth here. Something like that, right? You got an Adam's apple, blah, 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 blah. You just have to study a little bit more. That's just for like front view and side view. If you were to look at like an upwards view, like if say we're looking up at this person, it'd be something like this, right? The X method here. It would have something like this. If we're like looking up at someone a little bit, we'd have to divide this in half. So the nose would be like right here. I guess the eyes would be something like right here. You just have to think in squares and things like that. I don't really, you kind of internalize it. After a certain point, you kind of internalize it. It's like when you get good at like a job, you know, you don't have to really do all the steps, right? It's kind of just commonplace. In my head, I know this is gonna be an extremely foreshortened person. I've studied for years and I already know this, right? So I just know what to do. And you'll know what to do here as well. Something like that. Obviously, it's just extreme like caricatures. If I put a little bit more time into it, I would be able to draw a better face for you. But as you get better at drawing, you'll understand how to do it. As a beginner, you need those basic guidelines. So don't abandon those guidelines, just always keep it in your head. Draw like a 3/4 view face. Actually, I haven't drawn a 3/4 view face in a while, to be honest. This is horrendous. To be honest with you, oh my gosh. I need some practice on my 3/4 view. Like a yeah, this is it's been such a long time. Oh boy, it's been a while. This is a horrendous experience. ignore whatever this drawing is. But like the basics are there, right? I haven't drawn a 3/4 view in a while. And probably, oh my god, that's just... What's the easiest method? I can't really tell you that. It's all on how you want to do it. I used a box method because it's easier to do perspective. Like if you're doing just like a front-on view or a side view, the Loomis method is definitely better. If you're doing a perspective method, like up here, or like, you know, you're looking down, something like that. Doing something like that, right? A box is really good. But if you're just doing a front on or a side view, Loomis is good. But if you have you read any of the Loomis books? Because in his own words, in his own book for how to draw out the Loomis method isn't a method for everything. He states in his own words that the Loomis method that he teaches you is meant to be a guideline. And that's what it is. It is a guideline. It is not something to be applied to irrespective of facial feature length or irrespective to, you know, different things. It represents an ideal. You want to adjust the method to your own liking, and you want to adjust the method to the things that you find true as you learn more about art. When I was learning how to draw, Loomis method was God, you know, to me. As I got more skilled and as I learned more perspective, Loomis method kind of fell out of favor for me, and it turned into viewing things as a box. And eventually I learned a little bit of the Bridgman method, and I kind of morphed the Loomis method, the Bridgman method, and all that into my own understanding, right? So it depends. Sometimes it depends on the person. You'll use a Loomis method your entire life. Sometimes people use the box method. I recommend learning perspective immediately. Like, learn your fundamentals, and alongside that, learn perspective, right? You know, you have a box face on, and then you have a box tilted up a little. And then you have a box tilted up even more. Well, actually, yeah. And then it's halfway tilted up until eventually it faces the front again, right? Things like that. You have a box, a little bit tilted to the right. 2-point perspective, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point perspective. That's what I recommend everyone to learn as a beginner. It's hard. It will destroy your mind. Once you learn perspective, you will know how to draw. And then eventually the box is facing again, right? You want to rotate. So if this was like A, right, we're going to see a little bit less of A every single time until eventually we only see B. We can do B up here. This is B. Right? Does that make sense? If this is A and this is B, A, B, right? B recedes into the distance until we see A. Perspective, perspective, perspective. That's what I want to teach you. Yeah. That is the number one mistake I made when I learned how to draw, is I did not prioritize perspective. Right off the bat, I wanted to draw faces. And for 6 months straight, I tried to apply the Loomis method. And for the life of me, I could not understand it, because it's like a first grader trying to take on 12th grade algebra. Certain fundamentals haven't been taught to me yet at the time for me to understand how to draw a face, let alone drawing a circle, drawing a square, drawing a box. But the second I dedicated 3 months, of the last year of my first year in 2022 to perspective, my whole worldview changed on drawing. I suddenly understood perspective. Not immediately. It took some grasping. It took me another year and a half to fully understand how it applied to faces, how it applied to objects, and how it applied to the real world and to environments. But even within those 3 months, the second I learned what perspective was, I learned a whole new world of art. And that is what's I think very important for beginners, is learn your shapes, learn how to handle your pencil, get comfortable with your tool, your digital tool or your traditional tool, and learn perspective. It will change everything you know about drawing. You may not have an eye for it yet, but you will understand. And I want to show you something. I'm gonna, if you know about the paper method, it's the same thing as the square method, right? So imagine this is a piece of paper, like, right? This is just a plain piece of paper. You want to imagine faces as like a shield, right? So if we were to look up at this guy, right? He's like above us. That piece of paper bends to us, right? It looks like it's bent. And as the degree of perspective gets further and further, we see more of a bending to this piece of paper, right? So if we have like a nose here, and as this paper bends, we're going to see a little bit more of this bottom of this nose, until eventually we get to the point where we barely see the top anymore. And all we see is this chin, the underbottom, right? We barely see the eyes. Right? Right? And you can do that for anything. This works as a side view too, because if we look at a piece of paper from the side, it's just a flat image, right? But we can use the box method for that. And then we split it into thirds. So this is a front view. This is a side, right? It's the same piece of paper, except we're looking at it from the side and it's a square. And if we were to draw what shape belongs in a square? A circle. A circle goes into a square, and all of a sudden you have the Loomis method again. Wow, look at that. You've got the Loomis method. We have the page method, we have the box method, we have the paper method, right? They all come together for this paper method to become one. And if we were to draw this piece of paper from like the side or something, right? So it's been a while since I've done this. Right, this is like a 3/4 view. something like this. You see that bend a little bit more until eventually it turns into the front view again. The piece of paper, right? So eventually, yeah. So it becomes a front view again. And what I want it, and you want to draw this in like various areas, right? Weird. So we have like someone looking down, right? Someone looking down. We have someone looking like straight down, you know? I guess it would be something like this. It's like wearing a paper mask. Like, for instance, if we're looking front on, we just have this paper. If we were looking at it from, you know, see how like the paper curls? Right? So you want to imagine this piece of paper from different angles. And it's hard to tell because of the camera here, but you want to imagine this sheet of paper from various different angles as it folds and as it curves, right? And that's one way to imagine a face, and that's what I love using. This is my favorite method. I forgot about this method, but if we were to like take a look at this guy, we can imagine his face as a piece of paper. So let me take a blank sheet. If we were to draw over this man, let me lock it first. We can see that his paper, so his face, if I were to like draw it, would be like something like this. It would be something like this, right? We'll draw the neck here, right? Draw the rest of the neck here. The nose. Right. Something like that. Something like that, right? But I'm just doing features just to do features, right? But the paper is important. The paper method. This is what the paper method would look like on him. So if we were to overlay my piece of paper over the top here, right, we have this little paper, right? And it's not perfect, but that's kind of what the idea is. And so we can use this information. So eyebrows wraps around to the head, nose wraps around to the base of the eyebrows, got the bottom of the lips, top of the lips. We have the chin, right? But we already have some sort of like, you know, marking here where we can see that, right? Right? And you can already see that we have a... just... Right? This is how you quickly understand faces. The paper method, right? That's exactly what I did over here. Is I looked at the angle and I viewed it as a piece of paper, and you know, you don't need to trace over it, but it does help. If you want to learn where everyone's facial features you can trace over it. I don't recommend tracing the entire image. For me, what I do is I trace just the space and the lineup of the features and things like that. That's what I did with Conan the Barbarian. I'll show you how I do it. If I wanted to, like, if I'm just spitballing, I won't reference a lot. I'll just draw from my head, but yeah, no problem, man. This is what I did. I have this exact image here, right? And it's not that great. I was messing around with pen and ink, so don't flame me for it. But what I did for this one is, oops, sorry about that. That's what I have a light pad for as well. I don't trace the image outright. I line up the facial features to get me started on the drawing, and then I take away the reference image and leave it off to the side here. So it's hard to see, like if I were to, turn out the lights like I did just now. Straighten up your tablet, straighten up your thing. So we can see from his, the main thing about this is it's kind of hard to keep the paper and thing intact. Look, eyes, right at the nostril. Right at the nostril. Mouth, right in the middle of that iris. His mouth, since it's wearing a foreshortened, we're in a 2-point perspective, it's going to line up with his nostril. Eyebrows. Nose, the ear is going to be right here. Ear, going to be somewhere around here. Distance from the side of his head. Distance from the eyebrow to the eye. Shape or box of his mouth. Indent. Right here. Hairline. Right here. And already we have enough information for his face to do an accurate drawing. And if I'm having trouble with like a jawline or whatever, I just do a little bit of markings. I don't draw the entire image. I like to use a lot of dots. I like to use a lot of line markings. So like if I wanted to like notice where, like take note of some shapes, I would put some dots. Or you can use what's called plumb lines. Plumb lines are things that like that are in line with each other. So if we take a look here, his hair would go up this space. His hair lines up with the button on his jacket here. The outer edge of his hair lines up with the button on his jacket here. His jawline keeps going until it hits this little amulet here. Things like that. You want to look for like as straight lines in the drawing where it matches, and like already we already have a accurate image that we can, take a part of. So if I turn back the lights back on. Now that we've turned the lights back on, we already have all the information we need to start this drawing. We have his hairline, eyebrow, / top of ear, nose / bottom of ear. Have his mouth. We have his chin. And we have be like something like that, right? And it's like connect the dots. It's like connect the dots here. And then ideally I would have my tablet like rested up here, and I would just reference the hairline. We got something. Yeah, that like necklace right here. We would have like, not even look at the image for this one. We'd have his shirt covered up by his hair. We would have his shoulder. Something like that, right? And already we have a representation of Arnold as like a abstract image, right? Hairline, eyebrow, bottom of the ear. We have the shape of his head right here, the space between that. We got his neck. It would like something like around here. Yeah, you can, there you go. But most of when you're drawing a face, you learn and internalize these types of things. If you want to draw creative, you'll have to understand how these things work and how you got all three sheets right here. Obviously my method is not perfect. Nobody's method is perfect. You have to find the method that works for you and how you want to draw, okay? So don't solely listen to me. Don't solely listen to other YouTubers. You want to draw and experiment, and you want to practice, because a lot of the time you will find your own way of drawing, irrespective of the people you watch. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. I don't know. We didn't get too much drawing done today, but I think I learned something this stream, and I think that's the most important thing with drawing is every time you like experiment with something, you understand. And that's what I want to achieve with these streams is I want to talk with people. I want to experiment new ways of drawing and objects that I don't really normally draw. And today I've really liked this method right here, where you don't put pressure on the pen, and you get like these ghost lines with the faint images that we have. And I think that's a really pretty way and a really good way of creating texture, but you don't want a thick black outline for pen and ink. So I think, you know, you learned a lot. I learned a lot, and everyone else who's watching the stream, hopefully they can learn something from my understanding of drawing and things like that. I didn't even plan to stream today. I woke up and I was just messing around, playing some games and watching some YouTube, and then I remembered it was Saturday, and I was like, oh crap, I should probably stream. I should probably be consistent with my streaming, since I said last week I would stream this week or the next week, and I don't want to mess up my schedule. So unfortunately, that's going to wrap it up for me. It's 2.5 hours. Let me show off what we got done today. Oh my god, my desk is all messy now. We got these 2 drawings done, which is a little less than last week's, but I learned a lot. Learned a lot. Still messing around with pen and ink. Still learning how to draw with pen and ink, so. Yeah, I'll probably do a stream next week as well. Saturday art streams. Yeah, thank you for asking your questions. Keep on keeping on, you know. You just learned how to, you're just learning how to draw. Have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. You gotta have perseverance. You gotta have a persistence to learn how to draw, as with any skill. Playing the guitar, drawing, knitting, sewing, things like that. But just have fun, man. You know, just have fun. Don't take it too seriously. Practice your fundamentals, practice your perspective, practice your anatomy, and have some fun in a while. You know, don't just study all the time. Do some personal projects like I'm doing now. I used to study 24/7, and that never really got me anywhere. You have to experiment to know what you want to draw and what you want to achieve in your drawings. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you wish to support me, payment, tipping links, and all my social media links are in my YouTube profile, as well as the profiles of those social medias. So keep drawing, guys. Keep being awesome. Keep doing the art journey. Hope everyone has a good day. Thank you and goodbye. Yeah, see ya. See ya, Affy. Have a good day.